What if you took the world's end, but put everybody out in the woods? Well, you'd get the new Norwegian Netflix sci-fi action comedy Blasted. It's available now, but is it worth the watch? When a former childhood friend crashes Sebastian's bachelor party, only an alien invasion can make them put aside their bad blood and reunite as the kick-butt laser tag duo they once were. So we meet Sebastian, this high-strung dude who is trying to invest a client at his company. Things don't go too well during the presentation, and then in an effort to re-entice him to buy into the idea, Sebastian invites the dude to his bachelor party, promising a wild and crazy time that won't soon be forgotten. The funny thing is, though, that Sebastian's close friends are weird, and they don't really get the idea of a fun bachelor party. I mean, their idea of fun involves going out into the woods and going to an observatory where local legend says mysterious lights observed in the sky could be extraterrestrials. At the last moment, Sebastian's childhood friend joins the bachelor party. Sebastian and Mikkel used to be a great team, not only the best of friends, but also highly ranked laser tag players. There are the run-of-the-mill conversations between the characters, none that are overly profound or impactful. But as the story goes along, more depth and emotion is unveiled, which creates a good friendship arc between the players. Now, as it's shown in the trailer, there are alien types of invaders that take on the form of these gelatinous-looking balls of light. When they take over a host human, the human's eyes then glow green with a semi-frightening intensity. Now, through a happenstance action, the guys discover that a laser tag gun has the ability to kill the aliens. So, of course, the two former champions will hopefully be the ones to save the day. For me, while I was really excited to check this out, the more it went on, the more it became a casual watch. The story is basic and predictable, where we can guess with a lot of certainty how characters will behave and what conflicts are going to rise between them. And I liked the story tension between the players because it did add some dimension, even if it was obvious. Throughout most of the story, Sebastian is someone that is really hard to get behind. He comes across as very self-centered, whiny, and just generally a bad friend. He's also a bit pompous, especially in how he treats everybody around him. Now sure, it can be attributed to him just being stressed out about his job, but really, I think it's just his true colors on display. But the good thing about having a character like this is that it's easy to show growth. All they have to do is see the error of their ways when it comes to treating others poorly and then make small corrections. So while it is formulaic and basic, I do appreciate that they show some growth for our main character. I mean, if they didn't, it would be seriously hard to even care about his outcome. He'd be one of the ones that I'm rooting to die early, especially when compared to his friends. One is geeky and awkward, another is simple but sweet and caring, and Mikkel is nice, trying to rekindle a friendship where he doesn't know why it ended. And then the guy who Sebastian is trying to woo for business, Casper, well, this dude's a tool. I mean, he's specifically designed to be the one we really hate. The humor in this sometimes works, but it typically falls flat and is forced when it comes to the jokes. A lot is either situational comedy or the snarky reactions of the characters, but a lot of the time they just miss the mark or even come across as mean-spirited. I really enjoyed the special effects and the action that dominates the last half of the story. It's fun, mildly tense at times, and has an excitement as our characters get themselves surrounded and have to figure out a way to escape. It's kind of visceral and gross when an alien is killed, leaving a character to look like they were on Nickelodeon's You Can't Do That on Television. The execution of the story really did remind me of Edgar Wright's The World's End. Not so much because you have a dude who's in a state of arrested development bent on just rekindling a night of debauchery, but because there's a group of friends who have to take on an alien horde and they are seemingly outnumbered and outmatched. And there are definite nods to Edgar Wright in the editing, where the camera will zoom on an action and then do quick cuts. Now, I love Edgar Wright, so I appreciated this homage to his unique style, but this doesn't have the same level of character depth as Wright's films. Now, I'm not going to compare them, aside from noting the small similarities, but I do wish I could have connected more with the characters and their adventure. We don't really get much time with the group before they're out into the woods and then stumble upon the aliens, so there's not an opportunity to become invested in them. Also, there's a side story that involves a police officer, her deputy, and her dad. Now, this provides a bit of dimension to the story so we can see how things are happening in other areas not involving our core characters, but these were pretty much just throwaway scenarios. The scenes didn't add much to the context, and while they weren't bad by any means, they just didn't hold any consequence for what was going on. There is a part within the scenario, though, that provided another tiny nod to an Edgar Wright film. This time it was Shaun of the Dead. Now, again, I appreciate the homage, but it's not a necessary arc for the overall story. And that's especially true with the time being just short of 2 hours. Now, for that amount of time, I really wanted to be more invested in the characters, to build out the context for the relationships and dynamics. So then when the crap hit the fan, I cared about their outcomes. The story could have cut out the portion with the police officer and instead used the time for more character development within the guys, making the whole thing hit harder and then have me glued to my seat. The cinematography of this creates a great film to look at. And because this takes place out in the woods, we also get some beautiful shots of landscapes and forests, but also just the set design. When our characters enter the final location for the finale, it's dirty and filled with junk, building out an environment that is totally in line with the story direction. So at the end of this, Blasted was just an okay movie. I wanted to love it, but there was this constant feeling like the story was lacking something that would hook me in and entrance me. It became a casual watch that is fun, contains some good special effects, and showcases a good character growth arc. But it still doesn't quite hit the mark to make this memorable. There's also a mid-credits scene which could set up more in this universe, but we're going to have to wait and see if anything actually comes to fruition. There's no sex or nudity, a ton of profanity, and a bunch of violence. I give Blasted 3 out of 5 couches. What's a recent sci-fi film that you've enjoyed? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.